Deroy Crews here, your life applications officer. Um, Jesus saved me from my race. And let me be very clear by what I mean by that. I don't live my life based upon what other people in my race are doing or what millions of people in my race are doing. Millions of people in my race believe, millions of people in my race what their religion is, millions of people in my race what their politics are. You know what I mean? I'm my own person. Okay? And it never, ever, for me, was about the color of my skin and the way I handle or deal with anything, okay? It never was. Like a lot of times, when I see, my brothers and sisters, these people, black people, whenever I see them, say things or jump out there without thinking and do things. For me, I'm like, okay, that's you, man. Like, I don't know why you're doing that, but, and this is the thing, why are we, and I've said this in hundreds of, well, I wouldn't say hundreds, but 100 videos. Why are we so concerned about black people that we don't know? Now, I was just watching, what's his name? I forget who he said this guy is. I was just watching my man beat him, Brandon Tatum. Just watching him. And he was talking about this guy. I want to see who he said this guy was. Right here. If I didn't mute it, I muted it. Take that off. Here we go.
The double standard is out of control. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section of the Veterans Day 30% off. Veterans only. We're going to extend it through the weekend, so all the way through Sunday. The veterans can go on, click on the top tab to verify your status in the military. People that are already on the list, if you've already have the veteran discount, it moved up to 30% through the weekend. If you're interested in going to the Being Black and Blue event, my book launch party on November the 30th in Gilbert, Arizona, the link is in the description section. Make sure you get you a ticket now. They're selling out. They're finna max out the capacity of the entire facility. So I want you guys to make sure you get your tickets. If you can't go and you want to support, there's also, when you look at the tickets, there's a donation button. You can donate to the event. What we make overflow from this event, we'll carry over to another event. I'm going to try to do a tour like this around the country. The publishing company not going to do a tour for me, so I got to do it myself. So if you want to support, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Let's get into this. The double standard is out of control. It's out of control. Now, I met this young man. He was on the Candace Owens show with me and Candace and I. I don't know the proper English. Don't worry about it. I went to public school. He was on the show, and I don't understand why men, Americans of African descent, are so disingenuous in their approach to justice. And they want to claim that they are MLK-esque, but this is not what MLK stood for. MLK is currently catching on fire because he's rolling in his grave so hard that he's catching on fire. He finna torpedo out of the ground, rolling in his grave at these black men who are such social justice and counterproductive. Listen to what this guy Hawk Newsom, now of course he's BLM New York, talk to him, do some research. BLM don't claim him. BLM don't want nothing to do with him. And that's not a bad thing because BLM is a fake organization to start with, and they ain't done nothing good for black people, in my opinion. But he started his own little thing because, you know, there's a money grab. There's a money grab and outrage black people. And the more radical you are, the more money you make because people are sheep and they follow you off a cliff somewhere. But I want to let you listen to what he said because I feel like this dude is out of control.
Okay. He is the BLM co-founder. And I don't care about his name. I really don't give a rat's behind about his name. He's BLM co-founder in NYC. Okay? Now, you got to be drinking some snake-induced Kool-Aid to be all these people that look like me having the same attitude towards black folks. Okay, look. People, white people, which is one of the victims of black violence. Asian people is another victim of black violence. Indian people, another victim of black violence. Okay? And Mexicans might have the lowest rating because Mexicans fight back. Okay? They're not going into black homes and randomly just shooting and killing black people. Where are they killing these black people at? They're killing these black people. Well, the cops are killing these black people when these black people are invested in crime. They're killing them at a crime scene. If you get pulled over by the police and you don't cooperate, the police didn't ask you to suck their cocks, excuse my French. They didn't ask you to take your clothes off. They didn't rape you, okay? All they asked you is for your ID. Well, you want to give them some trouble about your ID, like they ain't got a right to ask for your ID and all like that. And let me tell you something. I'm a security officer and I have right to ask people for their ID when they're on my property. When you're in a cop's jurisdiction, they're allowed to ask for your ID. They could be walking down the street during the beat and they don't like the way you look because you look suspicious. Hey, can I see your ID? Now, if they arrest you simply because you don't have an ID, that might be a case you can solve. But they have a right to ask you for your ID. Okay? I'm a security officer. No arresting powers. You step onto my property, I have a right to ask you for your ID. I went through this just the other day where I was suspicious about somebody because, you know, I'm not going to get into detail what I now do for a living, but my commanding officer told me, get his ID. Find out where he's from, who he is. Okay? I have a right to do that on my property. Now the police work in jurisdictions. So if you're in the city of Pittsburgh and a police car comes down the road in black and yellow, those are still the colors, okay? He can pull you over. It's your job in the courtroom, if you feel that you've been treated unfairly, to deal with it. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't change whether you're black, you're white, you're Asian, Spanish, or whatever you are. If you feel that a cop has been unruly to you, then you have a right to, and I've done it. I felt that, hold up, I'm getting a lot of tickets for nothing. Every day, these same cops seem to pull me over. They see me every day. Okay? We're not going to go to, you want to go to court for just a minute, a mile over the speed limit or something? Okay, look here. I will go to court. I will get a public defender and court you. Okay, and you know what? The cop didn't show up. How many times in my life where these cops did me unfairly, and I said, okay, I had enough. I'll court you. I don't know what's going to cost me, but I'll court you. Now, had they shown up and a judge couldn't make a decision right then, that would have went into another court, which that means money would have had to come out of my pocket. But it never happened to that. It never escalated to that because I know my rights, just like you probably think I don't. I know my rights, okay? And I know when a cop is BSing me, okay? All right? And I said, okay. And when I showed up for court, about 3 or 4 times, they didn't show up. They did not show up. Why? Because they knew if they didn't show up, they would just throw the case out. And they didn't want to come in there and lose, so they didn't show up. Okay? And that's how it's done. Okay? But, I understand as a black man that it's never on our side the way it is a white man's side. And yes, it's still like that today. However, your side is just as good as the Asian side, the Indian side, okay, the African, the Nepalian, Latino, whatever, Native American, whatever you want to compete with, your side is just as good as any other race in this country. There is no reason why only black people should give a darn when another black person is shot. And why don't Asian people have to worry about Asians getting shot or African guys or here in this part of the world, even Mexicans don't have to worry about other Mexicans getting shot by white cops. You know why? Because they don't do the stuff that black people do. Tell your mama, your grandmother, your cousin, your daddy, your son, your daughter, everybody. Because this is the fact. And I get so appalled with people black people that is, who seem to not get this. Okay? Who seem to not get this. Asian guys aren't out there acting a fool. For example, how would a black man show up to a job interview and an Asian person show up for the same job interview? Sure, one's black, one's Asian. Okay? Now, what does the Asian, other than skin color, what does the Asian guy have over the black guy? Even an African dude. What does the African dude have over the black guy? Spanish dude. What does he have over the black guy? Native American. What does he have over the black guy? A lot of stuff. One could be education. And don't flip it. You can't flip everything and say, oh, well, that's the white man's fault. I'm not educated because of the white man. Another one could be the way you dress. Oh, well, he's going against my race. No, he's going against the way you dress, man. I see you guys every morning on the bus. I can, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't hire you. Do you know how many black people I tried to fire? And it wasn't because of this, because I got this too. It was because I don't like the black BS. And I really, really, really wanted them gone. And now I just gave myself away. You see the reason why I retired from being a security supervisor, and now I'm working as a security officer in a bigger account, for a bigger company that has been around just as long as this company has, and they've never been put down during even COVID. They didn't go down. You know what I'm saying? They do things by the law. I got my papers in the mail today. This company's going to take good care of me. It's really, really different. Okay? But do you know how many black people I tried to fire? You know how many black people I got mad at white people because they wouldn't fire them? Why are you just escorting this person off the property? You need to tell them not to come back. Now, was I looking at this? Or was I looking at the fact that these people keep doing the BS? For example, a supervisor is not a punching bag. Everybody from the housekeeper to the corporate chamber has supervisors. They have CEOs and supervisors over them. Everybody. If you are the head of your company, then there's a company outside your company that's looking over your shoulder. Everybody has an answer to somebody else. Even the President of the United States has an answer to somebody. Y'all didn't realize that. Y'all thought Donald Trump didn't have to answer to somebody. Donald Trump was answering that other person every day. Joe Biden is being ran by that other person. Okay, he's just being ran by the lobbyists, and the lobbyists are like, they don't want to show you that war, the lobbyists against the people that are in his cabinet. And the people that are in the Supreme Court and Congress. And I just recently heard that Congress now is trying to, they got a problem with Biden. And they're all Democratic. Duh, you should have seen this coming. Okay? But everybody has somebody over them. So if somebody says, hey man, you can't park your car there. Yeah, but I'm an employee. I know our employees don't park their cars there. What's up, man? What's up, dog? I'm off at 5 o'clock, bro. What's up? We can do it right here. I'll meet you out in the parking lot at 5 o'clock. Black people. That's black people. And you know it is. Always ready to fight. All my life. Every time. And then I can't wait. Oh, when the white people come to my rescue and say, well, he's got a point. Can't park there. Oh, now I'm a racist. Oh, that Deroy Crews, he's a racist. Can't get her off. I can't get this off of here. I'm supposed to be a racist. Oh, I'm a racist against my own people. But meanwhile, who do I go to BS with all day long? In between my rounds, in between my paperwork, in between my lunch break. Who do I eat lunch with? Do I need to get on the phone and explain some things to people? He's a black man. Black people like me, but he's still black. And I know how to get along with whoever's there. I don't get along with black people because there ain't no white people around. Okay? I get along with the Napoleon people. I got Napoleon friends here and at work. Well, I only like the Napoleon friends when there ain't no white folks around. I only like the Spanish people when there ain't no white folks around. I only like the Indian people when there ain't no white folks around. Look, it's not true. And everybody from family to people that I'm a fan to, people that I look up to, they all have this issue with the color of their own skin. And the minute that they want to call something the color of their own skin, anybody that is in disagreement with that is a racist. I'm a racist because I dare to tell somebody that looks like me that he can't park his car there, or he's not a guest at this place of service, so he can't stay, or you can't. You got to wear your uniform when you're working your shift. You got to wear your uniform. You got to show your company logo. Oh, you don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm a racist. But every day, like I say in every video, when I talk about this stuff, every day of my life, who's acting stupid at the bus stop? Who's acting stupid on the bus? Who's acting stupid at work? Who's tearing up the restaurant? Who's crying a race card? I never heard an Asian person say, well, they just don't like us because we're Asian. Yeah, they might say that about black folks. I never heard an Indian person say, oh, they just don't like us. This was an Indian. He pulled me over because I was Indian while driving. Okay? Only the segregated Spanish people who want to segregate California and make it their place, which is the most ignorant thing white people ever had to deal with, would say some dumb junk like, And see, this is it. People that are in error are worried about this. People that are, have an agenda, are unhappy with themselves, or concerned about this. I heard somebody talking the other day. People that have been the nicest people that I've ever met are racist. Because they told one black person that everybody likes, okay, that he couldn't do a certain thing, or because this white man is able to go and ask, this white man bought me a cup of coffee the other day. The same white man was standing behind me at the coffee shop and said, I got you, man. Now, a lot of black people would say, oh, well, the dude, so what are you trying to do? Is he trying to buy you to make you a slave? Anything to keep this here going. Anything to keep this whole racist narrative thing going. And I'm so glad that Jesus delivered me early on in my life. When I grew up in the ghetto, I'm so glad for the white people that used to call me up on the phone. They used to send me letters in the mail. Jesus Camp was more to me than just learning about the Bible and trying to make everything real. Trying to be brainwashed, as the atheists say. No, Jesus Camp taught me how to love everybody, taught me how to love myself. But the thing about Jesus Camp is most of the people there was white. And I know firsthand the difference between somebody being racist towards me, somebody having a stereotype about me, because of where they come from, and somebody who is just trying to understand me, and somebody that knows me, been around enough people like myself, and they like people like me. Okay, I know the four differences. There's three different types of white people here. And there's three different types of black people. We are, and I will say, we are more diverse than what people give us credit for. I will say that. We are more diverse than what people give us credit for. However, why are black people prone to one type of music? Okay? When white people are tuned to everything. They're tuned into everything. They're tuned into a little bit of rap music. They're tuned into jazz, rhythm and blues and soul, hip hop, pop, you name it. Okay? But it should tell you something when we all go out here and we have to dress a certain way and we have to act a certain way. Okay, it's wrong for me to wear my hat around like this. My hat should be around like this. Okay? Black folks don't wear their hats like this unless they hillbillies. Oh. Black folks in the South wear their hat like this. Not because they slaves, because they've even been taught the crap here up in the North where I'm from. Okay? But, black folks see me downtown Pittsburgh with my hat like this. They think I'm a coward. They think something wrong with me. My hat's supposed to be like this. Or like this. But I think the hat was designed to wear it like this. So even when I see white people, that's what I say at white people. When I see white people wear the hat like this, I'm like, no, that's not me. I wear my hat the way it was designed. It was made for this protruding flap right here to be in the front. Last I checked, it was made to be worn like this. You got the name of the hat. Most hats have a name on them. Like here's my old job hat right here. The name's on the front. So I used to tell people at my old job, don't wear your hat like this. Logo goes in the front. Okay? All right? Anyway, we continue to constantly be stupid on purpose. And we single ourselves out from white people more than any other race in America. We go out of our way to single ourselves out. I mean, like a lot of the rap culture and the thug culture is a joke. Because all of y'all ain't thugs. So why are you dressing like it? Why are you talking that stuff? Why are you talking that hate? Because you know you're not a thug. I pull out my pistol, you ain't got one. You wasn't waiting for me to pull out my pistol. Okay? If I go get my homie and we start chasing you, you gonna call the cops like a white guy would. So why are you talking that trash, man? Like, why you know what I'm saying? Why are you talking that trash? Why don't you just be glad that you're an American? I'm proud to be an American. Whatever that meant during slavery, I'm not a slave. You say, oh, you're proud to be American. Oh, boy, Deroy Crews, man, I don't know about you, man. You proud to be American. I can't say that. And then some of y'all say, oh, you proud to be an American. Why? Why are you proud to be an American? Because America lets you do whatever you want to do. And the minute you find out that you can't do that, I'm okay with not doing things. Okay? I'm okay with not doing things that don't fit. If my dress code don't fit, why wear it? When I represent myself, it's okay to wear that around the house, but why wear that out on the street? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. This is gay nation, gay transgender nation. You can dress, act any way you want to. And when you go showing hair and legs and boobies and putting on makeup and you ain't even a woman and all this kind of stuff, okay, you're doing that for what? Okay? Because you ain't dressing like that at home. So, you're trying to get attention. You're trying to be a nuisance to those that you think don't like you. And it's the same way with all of y'all in this country. Black folks, as well as all the other street people. What's the difference? In the video, like I said, what's the difference between street people and people that ain't street? People that ain't street, even Satanists, keep it confined behind closed doors where they communicate with people like themselves that are in the same politics, religion, etc., like themselves. Everything has to match. And they have these conversations in between closed doors. And when they go out on the street, they're just regular average Joes. You don't know what they're into. You don't know what they're about. That's the way it's supposed to be. You got a problem with white people. Everybody doesn't need to know that. That's between you and not white people, but you and other black people like yourselves. You need to keep that behind closed doors. Now, this NYC leader, as Brandon Tatum said, he trying to grab money. He's ran into this guy before. And let me tell you something else. Rittenhouse. Now, from what I understand, is Rittenhouse was able to get less charges, probably because he's 17 years old. But Rittenhouse should have not been there with a gun. So even though me and Brandon might disagree on that, Rittenhouse shouldn't have been there with a gun. It was a protest from what I understand. He showed up with a gun. He and a bunch of other white boys showed up with guns. Talking about they trying to protect people. Protect people from guns. The other guys wasn't carrying guns. But somehow the men that chased him down were all white. Now, there were some black guys running too, according to that video. And I think one black guy was injured in a crossfire. They said that later. But the white man, the guy that was dead, I think was, don't get me wrong, wait a minute. He shot somebody, and that's why he started running, because he had to shoot somebody. Somebody started running up on him, and he shot him. But see, this is the thing. They knew that somebody might run up on them. And they went down there with guns to a protest, from what I understand. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was this a protest? Okay. Now, if you feel that you need to carry a gun to a protest, guess what? Don't go to the protest. That's how I handle that. I don't even believe in protests. Because protests are always out on the street. And it's always about if somebody doesn't listen to you. Protests are wrong in the beginning because what it's all about is you're going to do whatever it takes to get your voice, be heard. It starts off with you blocking roadways and traffic and all like that, which you have no right to do. You shouldn't do. That's not nice. That's not right. Okay, then it goes off to saying things to people, pushing and shoving, and then finally picking up weapons, picking up rocks, burning stuff, trashing stuff, breaking stuff, turns into mayhem. It starts off with the protest is trouble in the first place. Then there's a lot of talking trash that makes somebody want to punch you. Okay, then you got people putting their hands on each other. Now it's just total mayhem. That's what protests are all about. Even these Christians that standing up for abortion, they're out there trying to talk to these women, and these women are like, leave me alone, I'm going to keep walking. Okay, so what do? They do something dumb like throw a brick in through a window or attack a doctor walking out of, they do something that'll get them arrested. You can't protest nobody out of getting an abortion. The only thing you can do is try to befriend that person and give that woman the option. She doesn't have to listen to you tonight. It's not going to happen. Nothing happens overnight. All you can do is give these people the option of an alternative to what they're already doing that's wrong. Or a better way, a more excellent way, as the Bible says. All you can do is show them a more excellent way. That's all you can do. There's other ways to handle problems with getting pregnant than get an abortion. And that's what the protesters are all about. That's what the churches are all about. But when you do something crazy like get physical with somebody at an abortion protest, I'm trying to figure out what kind of Jesus you serving. That ain't Jesus. Jesus and all his arguments with all the people that wanted to kill him and stone him. They picked up stones after him, but he didn't pick up none back. Neither did he pick up any to begin with. They picked up stones. He said, oh, that's my cue, and he left. And there was even instances where he knew not to go certain places because he's dealing with them in the physical. He knows they're going to attack him. You can read that in the Bible too, where Jesus chose to go this way instead of that way. Why? Because he knew that it was just going to result in violence. And then you wonder why I'm a Christian. You wonder why I read the Bible. You wonder why. Because Jesus saved me in the very beginning. He saved me first. He saved me from the black, they call it the black caucus. I call it the black abyss. He saved me from the black abyss when I was just a teenager. I knew that by the time I went to high school, Lord help me, I probably don't have any black people I look up to. Because I've seen enough in the ghetto. I've seen, and by the time I graduated high school, I even seen black hypocrisy in the church. When somebody is supposed to be on fire for the Lord and they speaking in tongues in the black church and they walk up to me and they say, why are you hanging out with him? You hate your own people? You getting up in this white man's face, thanking him for his offering. He put a lot of money into my church too. And me and him was hanging out, going to Eaton Park every Saturday and Sunday. He'd come to church and put this big money in the offering. Church in the ghetto. He was the only white man there. And then me and him would go out and eat. Okay? Together all the time. And none of my black friends ever wanted to do something like, hey guys, let's all get together and go to McDonald's. Let's do that. No. Nobody ever said, hey, we used to talk about, hey, you know what, we ought to get together and do, and it never happened. But this guy been driving because, He knew to make sure his goals were met. He'd been driving since he was 16. Okay? So he would drive all the way. And his parents told him to be careful. He would drive all the way, a 20-minute drive from one part of Pittsburgh to the other. At night, even, to come see me in the ghetto. And there's a lot of white people I know that are like this, okay? Not as many, especially today, after everything that's going on. But I know a lot. Even today, I know a number. I can name them, okay? And they had the nerve. One white man coming to my church made over 50 black people uncomfortable. All he did was sit there and say, praise the Lord, and put all that money in the offering plate that y'all ain't putting in there. But he was a nuisance to them. I don't understand. I don't get that. He was a nuisance to them. And all he did was love everybody, he hugged on everybody. Same thing with going to church camp. They told me not to go to church camp. They got down there to church camp. They wanted to go home. Why? Oh. These white people didn't do me any damage. What did they do to y'all? Now, don't get me wrong. There were some white people that came from some troubled white homes. They come from the South and lived in, the North for a number of years. And they brought some of that segregated nonsense here to Pennsylvania. 1 out of every 60. Okay? These people treated me like gold. So I bring these people from my church. Y'all need to come down here to camp. Because I was tired of being the only black person there. Brought them all to camp. We're having a great time. But for some reason, I don't like the choir music. These white people make me feel uncomfortable. Well, sweetie, how did they make you feel uncomfortable? I don't know. I just don't like being around. So they just dropped them off. They had to come all the way back and pick them up. And I tell you no lie, I know what I'm talking about. Nobody did a darn thing to them. Nobody said a negative word to them. Nobody even looked at them like they didn't belong. Because they knew we're Church of God. There bound to be some black folks here. They were more shocked that most of the time black folks were either the smallest number there, or other than the exception of me, there was none there. This is a hallmark in my life. The love. We're talking young people. The love of Jesus in their hearts. Sending me letters. Calling me on the phone. When you coming to see me? Do I need to come all the way down there to see you? I will if I have to. Okay? I got people on Facebook that remember me. They never forgot me. They said, hey, Deroy, do you remember me? And I did. Because why? When you've been around as many white people as I have, and I've learned how to enjoy them and have a great time with them, you start to find out that all white folks don't look alike. I know people by their tones of voices, their body shapes, the way they talk, their accent, their dress code, that look on their face, their eyes, the makeup. I started to understand one white person from another when you spend that much time around that much white people, that many white people. You start to know one whitey from another, so to speak. But anyway, I'm Deroy Crews, your life applications officer. This video was too long. Like, dislike, share, subscribe. Until next time, I'm signing off. See you soon.